Question 248. Should all drugs be ultimately legal?
Are we talking about recreational drugs?
That's a very big astounding
yes. I would like to say
yes.
yes, but too many people are stupid and don't know how to handle things.
That makes a good point.
I think they should be legalized, but they should be regulated. There should also be a lot of education programs, and there should be a lot of opportunities for rehab. I also think there should be we should attack drug addiction as a health issue, not a criminal issue. So yes, I do, with the exception of ice. I think we need to be a lot harsher on ice because that's probably the worst of the worst.
What's ice?
Yeah, I've got ice in my drink.
Yeah, I like ice.
I don't see a problem.
Methamphetamine.
Okay, my question is, are we
Or
talking
bath
about
salts.
recreational drugs or just anything that could be classed as a drug?
I think anything that should be classed as a drug.
All.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I'd pretty much just be repeating what Mero said.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with yes. And or
That was eloquent, to the point there, Badger. It's beautiful.
This is why I do scripted videos if I'm actually trying to make a point.
Badger's into mushrooms.
Right.
Sammy's awake. He made it.
He made it. I know. I was surprised. All right. Question 249.
Uh-oh.
Can I just add something to that quickly?
Very
before
much
we
so.
continue?
Yeah.
So yes, I think they should, and I also think we should have what are called shooting galleries.
Yep.
Which are
Agreed.
basically like places in public spaces where you can go get clean equipment, take drugs in the presence of a medical professional who is there. If you happen to overdose, you've got people there straight away with the right training to deal with that. It should be properly administered.
Yeah. Do not get me started on the funding cuts in Brighton that the police cut all funding for.
Yeah. Let's not even go there.
Can we have those, but so that they look like classic opium dens, but they're actually like properly managed?
Yeah,
Yes.
like that's basically what what I have in my head. That it looks like a classic opium den, but it's essentially a medical clinic with all of the proper equipment, the proper staff on hand who are proper professionally medically trained. Because realistically, if we're living in a capitalist system, if you legalize all drugs, there is going to be some form of taxation, and the amount of revenue that would generate would be ridiculous. You'd be able to fund virtually your entire health system purely on that revenue.
Yes.
I agree with that idea, and I also would like them aesthetically to look like a Victorian era opium den, just without the mismanagement.
That would be cool.
Yeah, just
Well,
without the mismanagement and the racism.
Yeah, the revenue. The revenue was the problem that the state of Colorado was facing. That they were the first state to legalize recreational marijuana, and the taxes they were collecting turned out to be about 8 times what anyone had projected. So they're trying to find things to waste the money on.
Send it to me if they like.
Exactly.
I'll have some.
I think my ventilators at the moment.
I'll have some of your legal drug money.
Tom says it should
just
have a
think
lava
about-
lamp, a beanbag chair, someone to guide you down from a bad trip, orange slices, and a doctor and some Narcan. I don't know what Narcan is.
I agree.
I mean, all the good that you could do with that money. Do you know what I mean? Like, even there'd be, as you say, with the whole the money that are made in Colorado. You know, it would be an abundance of money, because realistically, the same number of people that take drugs now are going to pretty much be the same number of people that would take drugs then. It wouldn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah, the problem is,
like,
no.
demonstrably,
When you're discussing it, though, you have to take
like-
into account alcohol and nicotine, and possibly even caffeine.
Yeah.
Also,
absolutely.
you should. There's a point to be made that certain new people would start taking drugs, and certain people who currently take them would stop because they're no longer cool and illegal.
Well, didn't they find that after... Sorry, you go.
No, it's all right. Carry on.
Okay.
I'll say what I've got to say in a minute.
Okay. Didn't they find that after marijuana was legalized, there was a massive spike in the use of marijuana, and then like 6 months later to a year, it was back down to what it was pre-prohibition?
Pretty much, I believe.
Yeah.
And also,
I think it was something along that line.
It had a direct effect on youth usage as well, because of the fact that it's legalized and monitored. It's not as easy for young people who shouldn't be doing it anyway to get their hands on. Do you know what I mean? Kids, like, whereas before in the illegal trade, not everybody, but some people that choose to sell drugs don't care who they're selling to. They're just going to sell it to every Tom, Dick and Harry. They don't care whether you're a kid, whether you're, do you know what I mean? They don't care. Whereas because of the legal system, it made it much more difficult for the youth to get hold of it. And also because it's no longer illegal, it doesn't have that sort of, like you say, that cool element to it. So there was a definite drop in youth usage, which is interesting because that's one of the key arguments that people use against legalization, that, it will mean that more kids take more drugs, but in actual fact, in reality, the opposite is the case.
What happens is it goes from being that thing that all the cool gangsters in the trench coats with sunglasses do, to being that thing that all the weird hipsters with the curled moustaches do.
Yeah, when I was one of the relationships where I was raising kids, we were very open about everything. So, we were polyamorous, we were going to swingers parties, their mother was smoking up regularly. And the older one, the only way she could find to rebel was basically to try and become Republican for 6 months.
How'd that go?
Yeah, like I say, it lasted about 6 months, and she decided it wasn't worth the effort.
I have some anecdotally, I've got a pair of friends who, as children, their parents were ravers, drug takers. So they used to take them to free parties. They used to smoke in front of them. They used to, you know what I mean? Like, they would take recreational drugs and not hide it from the kids, just be honest with them about it. And they happen to be two of the most well-rounded, nicest people that I've ever met in my life. They are, like, as people, they're amazing. Really good example.
Ask me later off stream.
Yeah.
All right.
I shall skip to the next question. I think we pretty much universally said yes, but maybe with some caveats. So a much more intellectual question next.
By the way, Mary, you should come on my channel sometime.
I should. That's true.
Like that script we got half written.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Should do that.
Question 204.
Wait for my PC to be unbroken, though.
Yeah, no, we need that.
Yes.